Jefferson County farmer Mike McCormick was reelected for a third term as president. He addressed membership on the convention's second night, asking farmers to continue working towards a better future, and Mississippi Farm Bureau will continue to stand with them through the good and the tough times.
Although the agricultural industry and Farm Bureau has grown and evolved with the times, make no mistake about it, the last crop year has been challenging at best. I've faced these challenges myself, but I'm comforted in the fact that for most of 100 years, Farm Bureau has watched over our farmers during times just like these. Farm Bureau continues to make an impact on farmers' lives, and I hope my work as your Farm Bureau president has in some small way made an impact as well. Just know, despite the hardships, Farm Bureau will always have your back. I am humbled by the resilience, always moving forward, whether you're facing good times or bad. You, the members of this organization, have made such an impact on me. From the friendships and bonds, know that I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Farm Bureau appreciates you, which is why we must always continue putting one foot in front of the other, like all of the farmers and ranchers before us, to accomplish our goals together. With our hands clasped and our heads bowed and a prayer on our lips, we must always continue to farm forward.
The Ag in the Classroom program, organized by the Women's Department and State Women's Leadership Committee, is key to teaching our school-age children the basics of life on the farm or ranch. This one-hour workshop drew an overflow crowd, eager to learn a new technique their volunteers could showcase in local schools. These simple crafts can open the door to a world many students have very little understanding about.
I find many of the kids that are in the schools have never seen a horse in person, definitely never touched one, and the equine industry is very important to our state. The horse shows bring in many out-of-towners that spend a lot of money here, so we want to encourage that.
The Farm Book of the Year was also released, also about horses. But this program goes way beyond equine. Its focus is to open up life on the farm as a whole to a whole new audience.
I think it's great because so many kids have no idea what a farm is. They have no idea where food comes from. They've never actually seen a real horse, much less ridden on one. So this kind of gives them a chance of making, not only riding a horse and seeing how horses are, but they'll get to ride one.
David Noel is a teacher in a county vocational and technical school and a Farm Bureau member.
We're seeing an increasing of the students that come in that know very little about agriculture. It's something they take for granted, from where they get the products to the animals themselves, and so it provides us an opportunity to educate them in just a whole new field of animals.
Safety is always an issue on the farm. At this year's annual meeting, the Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation's Safety Department hosted the Mississippi Highway Patrol's Public Affairs Director, Captain John Polis. Captain Polis's message focused on ways you can be safer traveling on Mississippi's interstates and highways.
I think everyone knows distracted driving is a huge issue, not just in Mississippi, but nationwide. And the only way we can combat this is for motorists to make good, responsible decisions when they're behind the wheel. Put the phone down, do not text while driving, try to avoid all the distractions.
And with agriculture so important to the economy in the state, drivers will need to be aware of farm equipment on the roadways and the best way to maneuver around that big machinery, especially during planting in the spring and harvest in the fall. In 2018, several crashes and even deaths resulted from passenger vehicles and farm equipment meeting on the roadways.
People need to be aware of that. I mean, you've got these slow-moving, huge pieces of equipment that just cannot move from left to right in a quick manner, but the motorists that are traveling behind these vehicles need to be cognizant, I guess you could say, knowing that, again, that you can't react fast enough when you're looking down at your phone and then you come upon these type of farm equipment that is traveling on the roadways.
The 2019 Farm Bureau Ambassador is Rachel Wilson. Wilson was selected by a panel of judges at December's annual convention after her presentation on encouraging young adults to enter the field of agriculture. The $4,000 Mississippi Farm Bureau Ambassador Scholarship, which is sponsored by the Mississippi Farm Bureau Women's Leadership Committee, identifies young leaders to tell the farm story. It is designed to enlighten and inform the public that interest in agriculture as a career is alive and productive. Wilson is beginning her 4th year in veterinarian school at Mississippi State University.
I hope to better agriculture and to get more younger generations involved. I was raised on a farm and I was raised around agriculture, and I know how important it was in me and instilling valuable characteristics into my personality. And I'm concerned that less and less families are getting involved in agriculture.
Wilson says she looks forward to traveling the state speaking to students and Farm Bureau members through the Ag in the Classroom program, and she already has a couple ideas to focus their attention on agriculture.
It actually helps being a veterinary student because actually the book of the year is a horse book, and actually it resembles close to a veterinary book. It goes into great detail of all aspects of horses, whether it be nutrition, clinical care, hoof care, why they have to have horseshoes, and so on and so forth. And the beautiful diagrams and illustrations, it just sparks the curiosity of the young kids, and that gets them more involved in it.
Congratulations, Rachel. The State Women's Leadership Committee's breakfast included a special guest speaker during annual convention, former Mississippi Farm Bureau Federation President David Wade. Wade served Farm Bureau members from 1996 to 2010. Through his leadership, legislation restricting eminent domain was passed by a grassroots initiative to collect thousands of signatures statewide. He also began Farm Families of Mississippi to tell the story of agriculture and farming across the state. On this day, he spoke about moving Farm Bureau into the future by reaching out to a younger generation of farmers and even those who are following them on the farm.
I'd say try to include the younger farmers in everything you do in Farm Bureau. We're the lone spokesperson for agriculture nationwide. We got a Farm Bureau in every state, and it's just so important to have policy that a group of farmers nationwide put in place. The other thing I'd say to the young farmers is get involved. If you're not involved in Farm Bureau, as a loner, you're not going to have a very effective voice.
He also wants to see the burdens on the farmer eased up through buying commodities in this country rather than imports from outside it. Plus, he wants Farm Bureau pushing for fewer taxes on land.
We've seen more imported food, and that really bothers me. I'm not opposed to trade. I think we absolutely have to have trade. Two of those things, anyway, that we can address is the regulatory burden that's created, and we can address the tax burden that's created. And the only way we're going to do it is collectively through the organizations that we have representing us.
David Wade served Farm Bureau as its 6th president, and we look forward to seeing him again soon.